Okay, so you did a video recently, and it was the house slap. And I watched that video the other day, even though I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago you put it out. I thought it was interesting. My first thought was, you were playing punk rock music, and you're out on the edge of the forest, and just like any good neighbor who doesn't want to be disturbed, you know, we live in an apartment building. When the neighbors are playing the music too loud, we slap the wall and let them know, hey, turn it down. And so my thought was, you're playing that punk rock music real loud, so Bigfoot's, you're in his neck of the woods, and he slapped your house. But the other one was, it's really interesting because it reminded me of a memory that I had. It's probably the end of last year. It just popped in my mind. You know, when you're not into the Bigfoot thing, it's not on your mind.
Right.
And when you'll run into evidence of Bigfoot or even see a Bigfoot, and because you're not thinking Bigfoot, you're going to think it's something else. You know, or you're not going to know what you just saw, you know, or experienced. And so you were talking about this house slap, and that you had completely forgot about it, but it happened when you were young. And so this memory comes back of, oh, now that you're into the Bigfoot thing, you're realizing you could have been. And that video was triggered by someone else's story about a house slap?
Yeah, a story I heard on a podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so it got me thinking again about an experience that I had before. I think it was probably 2016. We were living up on Boundary Road, which is west of Meadowing Falls, and we lived right on the edge of the power line. If you just drove off the back of the property, there's a road that goes right under the power line. It's the back way in. And I walked out under the power line at one point for some reason, and I looked over, and there's a pond, little tiny pond with a beaver hutch thing on it, and then across from that, there's a few little trees that stick up, you know, maybe 8 foot, 10 foot tall, and beyond that is just the open power line again. And I saw the biggest black bear I've ever seen in my life run across the power line really fast. And my first initial thought was, oh my gosh, that's the biggest black bear I've ever seen. And he was moving, he was hauling butt, he was really moving fast. And but then I got to looking closer at him, and you know how when a bear runs, you see his neck, and then of course his head, and he's got a snout. It didn't have the long neck, and it didn't have the bear head and the snout. What it was running on all fours, and it had like a little lump, and then like the neck was cut off behind the head, kind of thing. And so I was, you know, looking at it, and I'm going, oh, that's weird, you know. But then I didn't think anything more about it, you know. I thought, well, it's just a big black bear, but that's weird, you know. And so at some point after I got into filming these guys, doing the research and hearing the stories, and you know, hearing the different like connecting the dots, all this different evidence, you know, I remembered seeing that thing. And so I don't know where I was at the time, but I got back home and I got on the internet and I went on to some of these forums, Bigfoot forums, and I posted a question: does Bigfoot run on all fours, or does he always walk on 2 legs? And about half the people said, no, he always walks on 2 legs. And another half of them said, I have seen Bigfoot running on all fours, and they're fast. And so I can't prove it, but I think I may have seen a Bigfoot running across the power line, and it's right there at Flume Creek. And what I've been told is they will run up and down creeks or go up and down creeks foraging or whatever. But that creek crosses the power line right there. And it headed into the woods right in that little valley on the north side of Mount Linton. No, yeah, north side. And it disappeared into the tree line. But it was big, it was black, and it was running fast on all fours.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was a Bigfoot. Triggered memories.